Bro, look, I see so many people selling these courses to beginners, telling them that they can make massive profits like right away.
Bro, it's so crazy. They sign these people up, they promise them that they're gonna help them all the way through, and then they don't. They just leave them there to fend for themselves. It's not even fair.
So what can we do to help beginners become successful at trading Forex?
What's going on, everybody? It's Joe Gentle with Team Take Profits. I'm here to help you trade and get paid. I'm back after a couple of weeks away. You guys already know the MacBook went down. The stores are closed. You can't get anything fixed. Oh my God, it's crazy out here. Crazy out here. But got the new MacBook. Thankfully, Apple got it to me a little earlier than I expected. So I'm loving it. The nice new MacBook Pro, 16-inch, all the way upgraded. Woo! Ready to make some videos. Ready to get that content for you. So before I get started on today's video, what I want you to do, because you know what I've been noticing? I got a lot of people who watch our videos, that watch the videos on the channel, but they're not subscribed to the channel. They're coming and they're watching because maybe YouTube recommends it, or because maybe you guys are sharing it. And I appreciate that so much. Thank you for sharing all the videos. But what I want you to do right now is, if you're watching and you have not subscribed and clicked the little bell yet, go ahead and do that, because we drop value. Go search these comments. Go look at the comments in this channel, and you can see, people, we got value on this channel. So go ahead and like the video, comment. If you're a new subscriber, go ahead and comment. Introduce yourself. We want to meet you. And third, subscribe. Go ahead and hit that bell notification so you can get notified every time we drop a video, because we drop twice a week and it's always valuable. So let's get to the video. In today's video, guys, we're going to talk about one of the most common chart patterns that happens in Forex. It's one of the easiest things to see. It's one of the easiest things to understand. And when you see these patterns after this video, you're gonna be able to make money. I'm giving you the stuff today, okay? I'm giving you the sauce on this pattern, all right? This is gonna be powerful for you. Add this to your trading repertoire, and you watch and see how you're about to make some money. Let's get to the charts. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you today something that's really powerful. It happens very often in the market, and it's going to help you to really get a hold of how to find continuations of overall larger trends. I talk about it all the time in my classes, that when we're looking at the market, we don't just take what's right in front of us. We don't just look at one little piece of the chart and make determination based on that. We want to kind of zoom out a little bit. We want to kind of back up a little bit. Look at the broader spectrum. Look at the bigger picture. All right. If we're trading the 4-hour, we want to do top-down analysis. We want to come from the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, right? You know, if we're trading the 30-minute, maybe we want to start on the daily, the 4-hour, you know, and work our way down. We want to see the bigger picture. If you're looking at the 30-minute chart and you're seeing, you know, maybe a bearish trend, and you're thinking, okay, well, now that means I should be selling. But when you kind of zoom out a little bit, you realize that, oh man, that bearish trend is really only a pullback. Like, so let me show you on the screen here. So we would see something like this and say, well, that's a bearish trend. We're going down, right? We're moving down, so therefore this is a sell opportunity. Here's the issue with that. When we look at only that, sure, that looks bearish to me. But when we zoom out and we kind of take a look at the bigger picture and realize that before this was this, then we realize that this might just be a pullback on an overall larger uptrend. You know, see, what it may end up looking like is something like this. And then it comes down, right? So we see this little down move and we call it bearish. But really, it was just a pullback on the overall bullish trend. And so here we are again. And if we just look at what's right in front of us, we could be fooled into thinking that this is a bearish trend, when essentially this could just be a pullback for an overall bigger move up. And so I'm going to show you something that happens very, very often in the markets that is going to help you to really see what we kind of look at, and it's something that comes up very often in the market, and that's called a wedge pattern. When we look at a wedge pattern, what we're essentially looking for is we're looking for a pattern to form that is going to break out of something like this. Generally, it comes up, okay? You'll end up having a move up, and that sets your high. Then you set a low, and now generally, if you're in a trend, you're looking for a higher high and a higher low. Or if you're in a bearish trend, you're looking for a lower high and a lower low. But in this case, you set a lower high. So you're thinking, okay, maybe we're into a pullback or a bearish trend. So we get that lower low. So if we're looking for a bearish trend, okay, if we're looking for a bearish trend, then we should be looking for a lower low if we're looking for a reversal. But then what happens is you end up coming down and setting a floor. It doesn't come and break the lower low. It just comes down and comes somewhere in the neighborhood of even with it. Then you come up and you set another lower high. Then you come back down and you set the floor again. Do you see a pattern here? And what happens is every time you do that, what you're doing is you're forming what's called a falling wedge. And most of the time, again, in Forex, there are no guarantees. But most of the time, when we see a falling wedge, we are looking for a breakout to the bullish side. Because what this essentially is just a pullback on an overall larger move. Okay? So that's one way it happens. And another way that it happens is the very same thing, but from a bear market. Okay? So if it's coming down and it sets a low, then it sets a higher or a lower high. Then we're expecting it to come all the way down here and set a lower low. What actually ends up happening is it doesn't come down as far, and so we're thinking, uh-oh, maybe this was a reversal point. And now we're looking for a higher high to confirm that now we're going in this direction. We're going in a bullish direction now. But instead of setting a higher high, what it ends up doing is it comes back and sets your ceiling. Then it comes back down and sets a higher low, a ceiling, a higher low, and a ceiling, and so on and so forth. And so what we can see here is that we have us a wedge again. What we see there is a wedge forming, but this is not a falling wedge. This is a rising wedge. And anytime we see that, we're looking for a bearish break. Okay? And so when we see these happen in the market, which is very often, it's a very common pattern, we see them happen in the market. What it does is it gives us an idea that there is continuation coming in the market. Okay, so you know what? Let's actually look at the chart. Let's see what happens on the chart. Okay, and I'm going to show you in back testing exactly what I'm talking about. So here's what we have. All right, we have a strong move up. We've had some weird movement on the GBP AUD 30-minute chart. Then we had this huge move up, this massive move that comes up, and I'll show you. It comes all the way up about 420 pips. Okay, just a major move up on the 30-minute chart. just this massive move up, and you're looking about like 4 hours, and you had 400 pips. That's amazing. But that's really not what we're looking for, because those moves don't happen all the time. What we're looking for is high probability setups. It's easy to say, yeah, I'd love to catch 400 pips, but really, what told you? You know, yeah, there was some things in the market that we could have did to catch some of that, but in truth, those huge moves are many times manipulated by news, bank manipulation, supply and demand. There's a lot of things that go into that, and that's really not what we're looking for. We're not looking to hit a home run every time. We're looking to find high probability setups where we can catch safe pips. All right, that's what I teach my team. Safe pips. Would you rather have 100 pips that are high probability, that are, you know, nothing's a guarantee, but close to a guarantee, or would you rather have 400 pips that you're just rolling the dice on and hoping for the best? You know, I'll take the sure thing every time. I'll take the high probability every single time. Let's look at a high probability setup that comes along right now. All right, so here we are. We're on this 30-minute chart, and we see this massive move up. And now I'm going to show you in back testing exactly what I mean. Watch this. So once we see this big move up, then we're just waiting. Is this the high, or do we need to go a little bit higher? Or, you know, we wait for the confirmation, right? So we always wait for the retest. And so what happens is the next move shows us that we're coming right back up, okay? And we push even a little bit higher, and we set our new high, okay? Now, the red candle generally tells me that we are at our high right now. All right, so now we keep going, and price falls. Now, I want you to notice that price does not go and set a new low. It really just kind of comes in the same neighborhood. And it was a wick, and there's a body up here, but it comes kind of in the same area. Okay, now watch this. Look at how close that is right there. Literally, if you look at my line, I mean, it's literally identical, just about identical, within a few pips. Then we continue to go up, and now we set a lower high. We start to come back down, and now we set a low. Now watch this. I'm going to show you something. Let's fast forward a little bit. See this in replay mode. Now we set another lower high. And look at this. It literally is just folding out. Now we're setting the new floor. We have a floor. Then we look back at our level of resistance back here, back in this area, and we set our new floor right here. Okay? But our lower highs are consistent. So now, here's what I'm looking at now. Now I say, let me drop a line on my bottom right here, okay? At that level of resistance from back here. Again, we don't just look at one thing, we look at confirmation. So I see my level of resistance back here. I see that it was tried again here and again here, and now it's been tried as a floor here. So rather than taking this area, I take this area, because this one is one that actually has more confirmation. Although I do have a little bit of confirmation back here, this one seems like a stronger level. So I take this as my floor, and then I come up here, I start at my high, and I drop a line. I drop my trend line right in here. So now you see that I have this wedge forming. So what I've done is, a wedge helps me to capture the price. Instead of me trying to figure out all of this, what's going to happen in the next the next move from 2.05 all the way down to 2.00, massive area. What I've done is I've now narrowed it down to a very small area where price can move. I've now given myself, rather than having to look all the way out here and all the way out here, I've given myself an area to look at that's very small, okay? I don't have a lot to look at this point, okay? So now that I've done that, I continue watching, And here's what happens. I get my breakout. And look at this. Look at that. Soon as I got my breakout. Now you say, do you want to trade this candle? No. You want to wait till you have a candle close outside of your trend line. And now and from here, just right here so far, we already got 114 pips. Okay? So let's keep going. Look at this. Guys, this is beautiful stuff here. Guys, this is just beautiful stuff right here. So all in all, what this gave us, just from being patient and waiting, get the retest and come in right there. From right there, we got 174 pips that we know are high probability because I waited for the wedge to break. Okay? That's all I did was I waited for a falling wedge to break, and I took the long trade after the breakout. Super, super simple. Now, watch this. Right after a wedge, again, we're zooming out. Remember what I talked about in the beginning? Strong move up, pullback, strong move up. Now, if we were just looking at this alone, we would have called that bearish. We would have called that a downtrend. We would have called that all kinds of things. But when we understand it in the context of coming right after a long move and forming the flag, the wedge, and then having another breakout move, now what am I looking for? I'm looking for another pullback or a reversal. Well, let's take a look and see what happens. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, and I'm going to show you what happens. First, we see a little bit of red, and then we see a news candle. Now, we realize that that news candle is not the real move. We realize that that news that took that candle from the whole life of the candle being a 400 pip candle on a 30-minute chart, we realize that that's news and not a normal candle. So we see the push, and then we see the correction, and we find where the market really wants to be. And notice right where it is, right back at our level of resistance back in here. Okay, so everything came right back to a level of structure. All right, so don't freak out when you see news or manipulation happen. Wait for the correction and find out where the normal structure is supposed to be again. Let's keep going. So now we see this forming. We got our low. And let's just kind of fast forward a little bit. Okay? You see what's happening again? Watch this. Now, we have this move here, and we have this move here. Okay? Now we have this lower low, lower high, but we have our lows that were higher and then lower. So in other words, we have confusion on the low side, setting a floor, therefore giving me another falling wedge. Unbelievable. It's really what's happening. It's just another pullback, right? So what do? We're patient and we wait for the breakout. So let's see. We get our breakout. Now, the next candle is where we should enter. The next candle is where we should enter the market. We eat a little bit of drawdown. The pullback continues. And look what happens. Guys, I can't make this stuff up. Okay? So let's just look at right here. From breakout to high point, we got 155 pips. If we took it all the way down to the open of the other candle, we have 137 pips. Why? Because we were patient and we waited on our breakout. Literally, all we did was wait and be patient. And guess what? Now, what does it do? It gives us another opportunity. Because again, when we zoom out, we have up, down, up, down, up. What are we waiting on? We're either waiting on a pullback or a reversal. So we continue going. And let's just kind of fast forward it. All right. And this is where we currently are. This is where we currently are in the market. Now I want to show you something. Just a few minutes ago, I sent this trade out to our team. You're not going to see it in real time because you're not in the private group, but you're going to see it afterward. And look what happened. We have us another wedge. So now what are we waiting on? We're waiting for a breakout. And I'm anticipating, and this is what I told the team, that 99% of the time or 90% of the time or something like that, anytime you see a wedge that's falling, you're going to see a breakout that is a continuation. Okay? And here's the crazy thing about it. Watch this. Let's say that we are looking at reversal on the overall move because we are approaching a major zone on GBP AUD. Let's say we do get the breakout because it's going to, it needs to fulfill its pattern. But then we are looking, let's say we are looking eventually to come back down because really we are approaching a very, very extreme high. Okay? So what do we do? How do we trade that? Well, watch this. We literally can go to the top of our wedge and say, I know that we're going to get that. And we can break that down into take profits. This is how. If this is the target to fill the wedge, if I'm looking at filling the wedge, okay? Boom. If that's what I'm looking to see happen, which would match my high, and if this were a reversal, could essentially come back down and give me a head and shoulders. It could do, there's a lot of things it could do here. But what I'm telling you is, for the sake of this, how do we trade this breakout? Well, we get the breakout, and then what we do is we trade it to each level. The most previous lower high becomes our first level of take profit. Our second most recent high becomes our second level of take profit. Our third level, which is going to fill the wedge, becomes our third level of take profit. So we literally can get into the trade, and as the trade rises to here, we move our stop loss into profit. And then as it rises to here, we move our stop loss into here. As it rises to here, we move our stop loss into here, or we can just close the entire trade. And if we did that, guys, I want to show you something. If we did that, guess what we just caught? If this is what's going to happen, we are looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 pips coming off of this wedge, and that's safe. We could say 116, but really we're looking at about 100 pips safely coming out of this wedge. So guys, this is a powerful, powerful pattern. And the reason it's so powerful is because it happens so often. It's not an uncommon pattern. We're not looking for something that doesn't happen all the time. We're simply looking at how to identify pullbacks in such a way that we can catch the next move up of each part of the trend. So when we look at it that way, guys, watch this. When we look at it that way, if we know that this is the power of it. If we know in hindsight that things like this happen, we'd love to say that we'd buy down here and hold it till up here. But the truth is, most of us, if you're not an experienced trader, you get to about this point and you say, wow, look at all the profit I'm in. This is amazing, right? And then it starts to pull back and we freak out. We go, oh no, I'm losing all my profit. And somewhere in here, you close the trade and then it takes off on you again. Isn't that right? Well, what I'm teaching you to do is this. I'm teaching you how to identify this area so you can get out of this move, and identify this area so you can start this move. Then the next wedge, right? We identify this area, we get out. We identify this area, we get back in. We identify this area, we get out. We identify this area, we get back in, and so on and so forth. I hope this really makes sense to you, because if you can understand wedge patterns and flags, which are some of the most common patterns in the market, and you can start to identify them, okay, you are going to start to find breakouts that make sense. You're going to start to find breakouts that are powerful and high probability in the market. So guys, I hope this was helpful, and make sure you start looking for wedges and flags, both bullish and bearish, in the market. This is a powerful thing that happens, and I believe it can take your trading to the next level. All right, guys, there you have it. These patterns are powerful. They happen all the time. We see wedges in the market constantly. And when we do, it's almost a sure thing that we can catch the breakout. So I hope this helps you. Trust me, if you add this to your trading repertoire, you're about to take your trading to the next level. Make sure you catch these wedges, because they happen all the time in Forex. And guys, check this out. If you want to take your trading to the next level, go ahead and go to this website right here, tradeandgetpaid.com. Click join, and you can join our mentorship program. I'm telling you, there's nothing else out there that's giving you that kind of value for that lower price. We're giving you trade setups. We're giving you a private group with over 700 people in it. We're giving you private video library. We're giving you beginner, intermediate, advanced. We're giving you the game, okay? Everything on this mentorship program is powerful, and the students are making money. It's not just a gimmick. We're making money together. Go search the comments and you'll see. All right, so don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and check this out. If you're ready to have some more value, go ahead and watch this video right here and watch us trade live as we catch big time moves. Let's get it.